theoretical orientation and execution of the different steps of Philippine folk dances. In this area, students will be introduced to the importance of dance as part of the students' fitness and wellness, socialization opportunities, generic and meaning of dance, phases of dances, and the classification of different folk dances. The interpretation of Hoda Kabangan is also included in this module. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, the students should be able to 1. Provide the generic meaning of dance. 2. Identify the phases of a dance. 3. Classify the different Philippine folk dances. 4. Interpret the Hoda Kabangan dance. 5. Execute a folk dance with the music that goes with it. And 6. Develop nationalism through folk dances. Introduction. Dance is an integral aspect of a balanced physical education program. It is unique such that its primary concern is the expressive quality of movement and the enjoyment and appreciation of aesthetic and artistic movement qualities. Throughout our history, dance has served many different purposes, all of which are evident today. Dance is perceived as an physical activity, popular entertainment, form of religious worship, profession, art form, and social and recreational outlet. Dance is a nearly universal behavior with a history probably as old as humanity itself. Since antiquity, painting, friezes, sculpture, myths, oral expression, and literature attested to the existence of dance. Dance is embedded in our being. Even when not physically manifested, the concept and vision of dance emerge in our thinking. The dynamics of dance, culture, and society are inseparable. To comprehend the powerful appeal of dance and the reasons for its growth as a cultural activity in modern society, one must understand the nature of dance itself. Rather than simply relying on labels like ballet, modern dance, or ballroom dance, this area explores the basic concept of dance, and so complex are the motivation for carrying them on, that it is difficult to offer a single definition that encompasses all forms of dance. Dance may range from social pastime to theatrical performance, or from a religious rite to fitness-related activity. In one form or another, it appeals to all social classes and widely ranging levels of taste. Some dances are centuries old, others evolved only yesterday. Dance has become an important part of our cultural, recreational, and educational experiences. Meaning of dance. To begin with, let us examine the word itself. According to Lincoln Kirstein, the English word dance is related to the French danse, which is believed to have been derived from the ancient High German word dansen, meaning to stretch or drag. Each of these terms, along with other European variants, dans, danka, danza, tans, is based on the root combination of letters tan, found in the original Sanskrit, meaning tension or stretching. However, in a number of definitions dating from the time in which dance was gaining popularity in the courts of Europe, emphasis was given to its qualities, its social values, or its use as a form of communication. Dancing is to jump, to hop, to prance, to sway, to tread, to tiptoe, and to move the feet, hands, and body in certain rhythms, measures, and movements consisting of jumps, bending of the body, straddling, limping, bending of the knees, rising on tiptoe, throwing forward of the feet, changes, and other movements. Dancing or saltation is an art both pleasing and profitable which confers and preserves health. It is adapted for youthful, agreeable to the aged, and very suitable for all. It depends on music because without the virtue of rhythm, dancing would be meaningless and confused, so much so that it is necessary that the gestures of the limbs should keep time with the musical instruments. Dance as emotional expression. The view that emotional expression is at the heart of dance has been expressed by a number of writers in this field. According to John Martin, dance emerges when the dancer allows each of these impulses to express itself in movement which he/she deliberately remembers and develops in order to be able to convey to others something of his own intuitive reaction which is too deep for words. Thus, at the root of all these varied manifestations of dancing, lies the common impulse to resort to movement to externalize states which we cannot externalize by rational means. This is basic dance. This concept was supported and amplified by the statements of two outstanding modern dance pioneers, Martha Graham and Doris Humphrey. They wrote, "I am a dancer. My experience has been with dance as an art. Each art has an instrument and a medium. The instrument of dance is the human body, the medium is movement. It has not been my aim to evolve or discover a new method of dance training, but rather to dance significantly. To dance significantly means through the medium of discipline and by means of a sensitive, strong instrument, to bring into focus unhackneyed movement, a human being." Dance as nonverbal communication. Judith Lynn Hanna agreed that dance becomes a physical instrument or symbol for feeling and / or thought and may provide a more effective means of communication than verbal language. She wrote, "As an anthropologist, attempting to understand all human forms of dance, I conceptualize dance is this way: human behavior composed from the dancer's point of view of purposeful, intentionally, rhythmical, and culturally patterned sequences of extraordinary nonverbal body movements that have inherent and aesthetic values, that is, appropriateness and competency." In a more detailed and technical discussion of dance as nonverbal communication, Hanna added, "Dance is a whole complex of communication symbols, a vehicle for conceptualization. It may be a paralanguage, a semiotic system, like articulate speech, made up of signifiers that refer to things other than themselves. Obviously, dance may not communicate in the same way to everyone. Within a culture, differential understanding of symbols may be used on, and sometimes be exclusive to, the dancer's age, sex, association, and occupational and political status groups." The anthropologist Gertrude Karath argued that it is difficult to distinguish between dance and other form of movement, like working or walking, which use the same physical equipment and are subject to the same physical laws of weight, balance, and dynamics. Ultimately, Karath defines dance in terms of the communicative purpose, rhythmic movement having as its aim is the creation of visual designs by a series of poses and tracing of patterns through space in the course of measured units of time, the two components, static and kinetic, receiving varying emphasis, and being executed by different parts your body in accordance with temperament, artistic precepts, and purpose. Human movement and dance. A unique aspect of dance is that, of all the arts, it is most dependent on human movement. A powerful motivation for dance has been the pervasive need to express oneself physical through rhythmic play through exploration of one's bodily powers and physical environment. Clearly, dance is physical behavior. The head, body, limbs move through space, stretching, flexing, turning, contracting and releasing, leaping, rising, falling, and gesturing. When one compares dance with sports, work activities, or other forms of exercise, many of the movements are similar. Functions of dance. 1. It is an art form and an outlet for self-expressiveness and personal creativity. Within the mainstream of cultural inheritance, it may be a source of great works which are performed as part of continuing tradition and a basis for continuing artistic experimentation. 2. It may also be a form of popular entertainment, appealing to a broader audience than when it represents an art form with a high level of aesthetic worth. 3. It a form of a social affirmation, a means of expressing national tribal loyalty and strength. 4. It is a means of religious worship as a form of ritual and direct means of communication with the gods. 5. It serves as a means of expressing physical exuberance, strength, and agility. 6. It offers an important social and recreational outlet both as a means of restoring oneself physically, and of finding social acceptance within group participation. 7. It provides medium through which courtship can be carried on. 8. It serves as a means of education, in the sense that is taught to achieve the specific purposes of education with a given society, just as art, music, or theater are taught as cultural form. 9. It serves as an occupation with an increasing number, and it offers a means of livelihood to performers and teachers. 10. Finally, dance serves as therapy. For many it offers a form of physical and emotional release and rehabilitation. Therefore, it is provided, along with other therapies, in many treatment centers. Characteristics of dance. Recognizing that dance may be performed for many reasons that influence its form and manner of presentation, are there some common elements that can be used to develop a definition of dance? The following are the universal characteristics of all types of dances. 1. Use of human body. Here, we are concerned only with those forms of dance which involve people in performance. As Langer pointed out, one might refer to the dancing of gnats in the air as a kind of dance motif or patterned movement, and while animals or birds frequently carry on dance-like and even ritualistic movements, in this context we will not consider these forms as dance. 2. Extends through time. Dance is not a frozen tableau, or a single gesture or picture of movement. Instead, it is a continuing sequence of activity, extending through time, and may comprise a few moments, or may last for several hours or days. 3. Exists in space. Dance is three-dimensional. It exists in general space of a ballroom floor, on a stage, or in a village square. It may even exist in the personal space of the person dancing. 4. Exists in force, weight. Dance is a result of energy expenditure. It is viewed as a greater or lesser degree of muscular energy to articulate movement. 5. Exists in flow. The amount of energy which is restricted within or gathered towards the physical center of movement, or released away from that center, is reflected flow in dance. 6. Accompanied with rhythm. Most dance is rhythmically patterned. It is performed either to the accompaniment of music, chanting, hand clapping, or percussive beating. Even those dances which may be performed silently or to the accompaniment of speech or arbitrary devised selected sound effects, usually have a rhythmic structure. 7. Serves to communicate. Most of the dances have communicative intent, ranging from the literal characterization or storytelling of pantomimic dance or traditional ballet to the expression of personal emotion or physical exuberance. Even dance which are intended as abstract or non-literal forms convey a kind of meaning to the onlooker depending on his or her ability to perceive or respond to the movement in personal terms. 8. Has movement style and form. Unlike a child's aimless and play-like exploration of movement, most dance has a characteristic movement style and has a structure of form. Phases of dance. 1. Folk dance. It is a traditional dance of an indigenous society showing the cultural characteristic of specific people of a given time and place. In addition, it is a traditional social expression through movement with rhythmic accompaniment, which are the characteristics of community life and different nationalities. Folk dance is vivid and it deals with the tradition of the past, through which a multitude of the national characteristic in musical steps and costumes are preserved. 2. Ethnic dances. These are dances that reflect the peculiar characteristics of a specific tribe, especially their cultural, racial, religious, and traditional similarities. The movements of the pattern are no specific type. Dance is seldom classified as a folk dance. 3. National dance. This refers to the type of folk dance found most widely in a specific country. Good examples are England's Virginia Reel, Italy's Tarantella, Scotland's Highland Fling, or Philippines' Tinikling and Carinosa. 4. Natural dancing. It refers to the type of dance which makes use of the basic movements, namely the locomotor movement and the axial movement. 5. Creative movement. This is the highest form of dance for the purpose of entertainment. It is the end product of exploration and improvisation of movement as dancer or choreographer expresses his/her feelings or emotions, ideas, and interpretation. It has a definite form, beginning, and ending. 6. Gymnastic dancing. This form of dancing appealed to the more skillful, especially the boys, because of the stunt elements present. Interest is maintained because of the vigorous movements and the participants experienced tremendous satisfaction. 7. Social dancing. This includes the wholesome and artistic form of dancing used by the society for recreational purposes. Fundamental steps are given as preparation of the ballroom dance. 8. Modern dancing. This is a deviation from the traditional ballet by young American dancer Isadora Duncan, who gradually involved whole technique of dance movements based on ideas that contrast the classical or traditional dance. 9. Recreational dance. It includes dance mixers, square dancing, and round couples. Many of these dances have a simple pattern with the combination of walking steps. 10. Singing dance. This is a valuable activity during the early years of life because it requires and tells simple technique skills but gives a lot of training in developing the sense of rhythm. They combined movements and singing both done together in rhythm. 11. Creative training. It is actually for children in elementary grade, sometimes called fundamental mutual dance. It is the end product of exploration and improvisation of movements as a child learns to move the parts of his/her body and use instrument of explorations. 12. Philippine folk dance. Philippine folk dance, in general, is a dance consisting of rhythmic movements sustained by regular tempo and the beat of the music, conceived as a way of nonverbal communication or kinetic movement to relieve tension. This is a means for social and individual or group experience, but also a cultural mirror in which spirit, character, and artistry of its time is reflected when placed in historical perspective. Furthermore, this dance can be viewed as both a creative act and cultural institution. Dance is as old as mankind of the world. In this overview, dance is an expression of rhythm, of an intensified sense of life. Arising from an inner perception that develops both mind and body, it is timeless and a universal language. As an expressive folk art, dance depicts man's traditional contemporary feelings. Some dances are results of religious rites or ethical varieties portraying the celebration and more different cultural patterns. Classifications of Philippine folk dances. 1. General classification. A. Geographical extent of origin. 1. National dance, found throughout the islands with little or no modification. Examples. 2. Local dance, found in certain locality. Examples. B. Nature of dance. 1. Occupational dances are dances that depict actions, characteristics, occupations, industries, and phases of human labor. Examples. 2. Religious or ceremonial dances are performed in connection with religious vows, practices, and ceremonies. A religious dance may be performed to drive away evil spirits, to ask for a favor to have a child, and to give thanks for having recovered from sickness, favors granted, and vows fulfilled. Examples. 3. Courtship dances are dances that depict lovemaking or with a love theme. Examples. 4. Wedding dances are performed by newlyweds, by friends and relatives of the bride and groom, or by the father and the bride and the mother of the groom. Examples. 5. Festival dances are performed in connection with celebration, a feast, a barrio fiesta, good harvest, and good fortune. Examples. 6. War dance are intended to show imaginary combat or duel with the use of fighting implement like bolo, kris, or spear. Examples. 7. Comic dances are dances with funny and humorous movements mainly intended for entertainment. Examples. 8. Game dances are dances that have some play elements and are for recreational purposes. Examples. 9. Social dances are dances during social gatherings. Examples. Movements. 1. Active, with fast energetic movement. 2. Moderate. 3. Slow. 4. Slow and fast. Formation. 1. Square or quadrille. 2. Long formation. 3. Set, consisting of 2 or more pairs as a unit, partners facing each other or standing side by side. Special classification. Dance with a song. Old ballroom dance. Dance with implements. Dance with combined rhythm. Characteristics of Philippine folk dance. 1. In general, dancers stand apart. 2. There is a little, if any, body contact. 3. Most of the dancers are in pairs or couples. 4. Hand movements play an important part. 5. Most dances are in long formation. 6. Most dances begin and end with saludo. 7. Dances from the lowland have more foreign elements than those found in upland. 8. War dances are found among non-Christian tribes.